Welcome back to another edition of Voice of the Veteran. Now, I really am talking, see, and today we're with the Honorable Jason Frierson. He's the Speaker of the House of the State of Nevada Assembly. And Speaker, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we talked a little earlier, and it's been a lot of fun. And we're going to cover a number of topics today that are near and dear to the Speaker's heart. And let's start out with your family. I understand you're married.
I am.
And
I met my wife in law practice, and we have two little ones, 5-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy that
Nice.
are the reason I do all of this.
there you go. Good. Now, your district as an assemblyman here, it's what, District 8, right?
Yeah, District 8.
I looked in the map, and that looks like it's a pretty extensive and diverse area. You got industrial, you got the stadium, don't you? Legion
Yep.
Stadium?
The stadium
That's
is in
not
my
too bad.
district. It's not
Yeah.
bad at all.
And now, you're a practicing attorney.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about your background
Okay.
to get to the attorney.
Okay.
I understand you went to college first, all right?
Right.
You went to UNR?
I did.
Okay.
So I came out of Compton, born and raised, got a football scholarship to go to UNR. So
Nice.
I played there until, of course, football takes its toll, and my knees said no more, and so I had to move on. But it paid for school, and that was what I went there for.
Pays for school, that's great, absolutely. Now, you became the student body president at UNR.
I did.
That's no easy undertaking. You know?
It was not. I needed something else to do when I wasn't playing football anymore, and I had a scholarship, but I had idle time, and when I have always been operating in the existence of if you see something that you think is wrong or needs to be changed, you just dive in, and I saw, literally I saw lines too long in the student health center.
Yeah.
On campus, and decided I got to get involved.
Good.
And next thing you know, I'm running for student body president.
One of the many reasons why you're Speaker of the House.
Right.
I like that. That's great. Now, you graduate from UNR, and you become a faculty member there. What did you teach there?
I wasn't a teacher, I was an advisor, so I would
Okay.
recruit kids from high school.
Oh.
And then I would go to college fairs throughout the state.
Okay.
And then recruit them, and I would be their advisor for their freshman year.
Nice.
In certain departments. It was generally social work, nursing, and I would serve as their advisor, their freshman advisor. And then if they wanted to stick with me after that, I would still help them out.
Oh, nice.
But it really afforded me a chance to see the whole state. So I went to places like Elko and Ely, Winnemucca, even Oahe, Native American tribal, property and communities out there in Oahe. So it really allowed for me to explore the whole state and get to know and appreciate the entire state.
Outstanding. Now, you leave being a faculty member at UNR, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you said, okay, I'm going to law school. You went to the UNLV Boyd School of Law,
Right.
And you were the very first class.
I was in a charter class, the
That's
very first
outstanding.
class.
Yeah.
The opportunity to be a part of, what we knew was going to be a great college down here, I couldn't pass up. Actually, UNR's president, Joe Crowley, is the first one that approached me and suggested that I apply. And again, the chance to be in the charter class was something I just couldn't pass up.
Yeah. It's as we talk, it's easy to see the steps you're making to be where you are now.
Right.
And it's not everybody can do that.
Right.
Then, so like I said, the first graduating class, and you became the president of the student body of that.
I did.
All right. When's the
Yeah.
book come out?
It just, again, when I saw something and felt like I could have an impact and change, I just took to it. And the thing about UNR and Boyd is similar to becoming speaker. It's a decision amongst your peers.
Oh, sure.
And so I've always been passionate about advocating for other folks, and it's landed me in opportunities to serve.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. You got the Barbara Buckley Community Service Award for leadership and community service.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Well, Barbara Buckley obviously is a role model. She was my predecessor in District 8. She runs the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada, and I got to know her through various clinics in law school and seeing what they were doing in the community. But she recruited me to run for the assembly, so it was an honor when I got that award. Was how I got to know her, and the wonderful things that they do in the community have continued to be part of her legacy. You know, but I was involved. One of the reasons I came to Boyd was because of their interest in serving the community and having that as a part of the curriculum.
Good.
And it was reflected in me getting that award.
And then one more thing here, then we're going to move into the veteran segment of things. You became the Deputy Attorney General for the state of Nevada.
Right.
How long did you do that?
I did that for a few years. Actually, former governor, former Attorney General Brian Sandoval hired me.
Wow.
So we've known each other for a long time, and I worked in the Bureau of Consumer Protection and securities fraud, and then I also did litigation with prison inmates who had civil cases they were filing and escaped prisoners.
Nice.
And so, you know, that allowed me to do some other things like serve on the Cyber Crimes Task Force, and where we partnered up with other agencies, both state and federal, looking at cybercrime. And you know, it was a joy. It was a great opportunity. The thing that I also enjoyed there was I was allowed to continue my interest in the community. So we would read to kids at Martinez Elementary School once a month.
Nice.
I did that the entire time.
That's
and
good.
you know, it's not often you have a professional opportunity like that where you can
Yes.
still be involved in the community.
Yeah. The kids, it's so funny because as a parent of 4 kids and 7 grandkids, I've always listened to my kids. And it's so, and I know you're probably doing the same thing with many, many kids, but so many people don't listen to kids. And there's a lot of questions there, and there's a lot of direction if we listen.
Well, we got to pay attention. My kids
Yeah.
watch the news with me.
Good.
You know, I would urge them to do whatever they want to do with their life, but they're going to be, you know, good citizens
Yep.
and aware of what's going on. So,
Good.
you know, they're definitely the children of 2 lawyers.
Yeah, that's outstanding. All right, now let's talk about something that's near and dear to my heart.
Right.
Veterans. What's so impressive to you about our veterans?
You know, first of all, my dad served in the Air Force.
He's a good man. I was Air Force, so we're talking good.
My dad served in the Air Force, so I've always had a healthy, I think, appreciation for that level of service. That was before I was born. But as I was growing up, you see the conscious decision. I mean, back when folks were drafted, I think it was a little different. But when you see the conscious decision to serve, it says a great deal about, you know, the character of that individual, but the character of our country. That we have so many men and women that volunteer to defend our country, and you know, you're seeing it, you know, even now. I nearly, if I hadn't gotten a scholarship to go to football, I was accepted to West Point, and I was being recruited by the Navy. And my whole goal when I turned 18 was I'm not staying home.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, I'm moving on to whatever's next. And fortunately, I got a call for scholarship. But when you see an entire population of folks who've given so much, I think it's easy for folks to forget that there's PTSD. There's all kind of experiences that carry on beyond service.
Sure.
When you look at, and what I in particular have been passionate about in recent years is the homeless population. And so many in our homeless population are veterans. It's heartbreaking.
It is.
And so I think the least that we can do, and I committed to this in 2017 along with Governor Sandoval, is to set out to make Nevada the most veteran-friendly state.
Oh,
And
nice.
So I think that it's the least that we can do. And I'm, you know, honored to always be able to speak to veterans at the beginning of session and make sure that we are advancing legislation that recognizes that service and that sacrifice.
Well, that says it all right there. When Peter Polivos, our chairman, called me up and said, we're going to do a podcast with the speaker. I said, okay, that's a no-brainer. I love it. I started telling people about it, other veteran friends of ours and people we help as well. You know, if I said they could all come here today, you would have a crowd out there because these people genuinely want to be talking to you and be near you.
Right.
And I can tell you right now, there is a lot of support for you from our veterans.
Well, I'm honored to get that kind of support. I don't take it for granted. I don't see that kind of support as so much an acknowledgement of what I have done as much as a charge about what I'm still needing to do. And so I carry it with me. I don't take it for granted. We've done some great things, but we still have a lot of work to do. And I think given the pandemic in particular and the disparate impact that this has had on various communities, we got to be together coming out of it, and we can't lose sight of communities like our veterans community that have done so much before today.
Well, I thank you, we thank you, and if they were all out there, they'd be cheering right now thanking you. So we'll work on that. We'll get a big crowd someplace behind a glass wall. Or
well, hopefully we'll get closer to normal where we don't have to have a wall, but till then.
Now, you're up for re-election, right?
Every 2 years.
Okay. And I looked at your accomplishments, and you want to touch on those because it's long, but I know you can encapsulate it for us.
Sure. Well, I mean, with respect to the veterans community, or across the board?
Across the board.
Well, some of my other passions have been criminal justice reform, which, I joke with some of my colleagues. I was interested in it before it was popular.
Yeah.
And I think now we're seeing a need for it. So I've been involved with that. I've also done a great deal of work protecting children, abuse and neglect. Human trafficking. I worked with now Senator Catherine Cortez Masto when she was Attorney General on some sex trafficking legislation to make sure that Nevada wasn't a home for that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
Especially because we're so close to hubs for trafficking. Like Compton, where I was born and raised, is now considered a hub. So
is that right?
Us being so close, that was important. And, for me, I think my charge now, and I've done other things like voting rights restoration, and I've done a great deal of work with specialty courts, in particular Veterans Court.
Oh, yeah.
But now I see my charge in the midst of this, I think, chaos politically throughout the country is to recruit and train up statesmen that get back to doing the work for people. And so I really feel like if I have a legacy beyond bills that I've gotten passed, it's increasing the quality of the electorate and making sure that folks are prepared and trained, but treated with respect and dignity and with class. And I think that's the least that our voters deserve. And so for me, my legacy is leaving behind folks that love this state like I do and aren't in it for personal reasons.
Wow. When are we going to see the Frierson for President 2024?
Well, baby steps. My kids are my center, and as long as my wife and my kids are supportive, I'm in it.
Yeah. Good.
And if and when that ever changed, then we'd have to make a family decision. But for now, I just love serving.
Good.
I enjoy.
It's obvious.
Yeah. We'll see what's next. But for now, I enjoy serving.
Well, it's like I said, it's really obvious that you love serving because a lot of endorsements. And I got a page here, and that's just a few of them. You want to, you know them all, man. You want to run down any of them at all? Or?
Well, look, I think that most organizations that are issuing endorsements have endorsed me, not necessarily because they think we always have to agree, but they know I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to make informed decisions. I'm going to be accessible and available. I think it's important also in this day and age that people are assured that you're not going to embarrass them. You're not going to get caught up in a scandal. We choose to run, and so we have to live our life with the understanding that we're held to a higher standard. I think that I have had a reputation of doing all of those things and being available, hearing people out, acknowledging mistakes when we make mistakes, because everybody does, but moving forward in a collective and collaborative way. So whether it's labor, AFL, and teachers unions to, I think, being a public defender and being endorsed by the Police Protective Association, I think is reflective of the fact that I keep an open mind and I stick to my word and I keep it all above board.
Yeah, that says it all right there for you. I mean, look, some of these people on here are the blue collar trades. Yep. You've got the first responders, the realtors. There's all kinds of things. It's a great diversity, and that says a lot about you as a person. Because a lot of these endorsements people have are just right down the line,
right.
All the same, and that's nice. But no, you're really showing that hey, we like this guy. So that's outstanding.
And again, I think they appreciate that I shoot straight, and we don't always have to agree. We usually agree on where we're trying to get, just not necessarily on how to get there. But they see that I instill those values in my members as well. and to steer this ship with 42 folks in the assembly right now, 29 of which are my own, to herd. I think it takes a collective effort
Yeah.
and community support that I've worked hard to earn.
Outstanding. Well, I will tell you this, we have, coming up shortly, we're going to be presenting the speaker with an award from Voice of the Veteran. And you didn't know that,
Right,
but I
thank
showed
you.
your assistant a few minutes ago. What was her name?
Ashley.
Ashley. Yeah, she's outstanding.
She is great.
Yeah, she, well, I can say that from a legal standpoint, being a nonprofit, we can't say, come right out and say, we support you.
Right, right.
But I will say, I know a lot of us support you.
Well, again,
How's that sound?
I absolutely appreciate it.
Yeah.
The last couple of sessions as speaker, I think I've been able, to do some great things that I think reflect our values. And so, I talked earlier about Veterans Court. I think that that's an important effort to recognize that you put time in the military and you come back and you might have PTSD, you might have
Right.
lingering injuries, you might have pain management issues that lead to drug addiction that we have to take into consideration in the criminal justice system. In 2017 we expedited funding for veterans home in northern Nevada.
Oh, yeah, I read that. Yeah.
And so, whether it's that, recognizing military sexual assault and trauma,
Yeah.
and I think providing support for veterans across the board. We've done it with job preferences and bidding. We've done as much as we can and continue to do to make sure that our military community understands that we value them and that we honor their service. And that we're going to make sure, to the best of our ability, that we take care of them because they took care of us.
That's outstanding. Well, let's. I'm going to fine tune what I just said. I personally am going to support you.
Thank you.
And you know what? I know a lot, just about, everybody in our organization is going to support you.
Thank you.
We'll do what we can to get the word out about you, and we can't make people vote the way
Right.
they don't want to vote. But after they see this, they're going to say, "That's the guy."
Well, I
That's the
really,
guy.
really appreciate it.
Okay. Can we shake?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much. Mr.
Thank you
Speaker. I
much.
appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll be back shortly, and we're going to give him an award right now. Thank you.
Ashley, she's an angel, and every now and then when I get on stuff and I'm not as prepared, she said, "How do you do that?" I was like, if you're genuine and you practice a little bit, and for me, and I have a little bit of coffee, all the rest of it flows. You don't have to remember it if you're not lying.
Yeah, it
You know,
just comes out.